أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين أما بعد. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says in His glorious book in Surah Al-Hashr verse 22, that's chapter 59, هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. He is Allah, other than whom there is no deity, knower of the unseen and the witnessed. He is the entirely merciful and especially merciful. Now, one of the names of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is Alimul Ghaybi wa Shahada. Ghayb is whatever is hidden from the senses. So if, like when you say the Shamsu Ghabat, the sun sets, it disappeared from eyesight. You cannot see it anymore. So it becomes a ghayb. So ghayb is what's hidden from the senses. And also it's what's hidden from man's knowledge. Things that you don't know is a ghayb. Ilmul ghayb, that only Allah knows. So the unseen, al-ghayb, is a relative term. If you stand behind a door, and the door is closed, everything behind that door is ghayb to you. You don't know it. You have no idea what's behind it. When the door opens, then it becomes, from the scene, and now you know what it is. But if you're looking from above and you see both sides of the door, then it's not a ghayb anymore because you can see both sides. So, and there are three different types of ghayb for the unseen. There are past events, things that happened in the past that you don't know what happened. You weren't there, so you have no idea. So it's a ghayb. There are present events that happen in other places that you're not aware of. That's ghayb also. And then there's the future. Things that happen in the future, that's ghayb. And that knowledge belongs with Allah. So there are types that only Allah knows. Like the future, like the time of the hour, the day of judgment, the time of death. We don't know when we're going to die. Only Allah knows. So there are certain knowledge that is unknown to us, it's unseen, and only Allah knows. Because events that happen in other places, it's ghayb to you, but it's not ghayb for somebody else who's present where those actions are happening. So it is a blessing that the time of our death is ghayb, and the time of Qiyamah is ghayb. It's a blessing. Because Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala makes us work all of our lives for that moment. Because if you know you're going to die on year 83, you may slack off for 82 years, 11 months and 28 days, and then, shape up in the last day. No. We don't know what it is. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be 20 years from now, it could be 30 years. We don't know. Only Allah knows. So it's a blessing not knowing. So Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala knows everything. He has no limitations. He knows al-ghayb and al-shahada. Anything that can be seen or can be known, He knows it and He sees it. And anything that cannot be seen, He knows it. He knows if it could be seen, what it would look like. So to Allah, there is nothing hidden. Everything is open to Him. He knows what it is, what will be, and if it was to happen, how it will happen. And this Alimul Ghaybi wa Shahada repeats many times in the Quran to give us this, to put us at ease and trust in Allah, because Allah knows everything that will happen. So in some verses, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala says, Alam tara, like in Surah Al-Fil, Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka bi ashabil fil. Have you not seen, O Muhammad, how your Lord dealt with the companions of the elephant? Now, the interesting thing is Allah was asking His Prophet, did you not see? Now, the event happened before the Prophet was born. So how can he have seen something that happened before he was born? Allah did not say, did you not know or have you not heard? He used see. Now the question, there's a difference between you saying, I heard and I saw. When you see something with your own eyes, you say, I saw it. There is no more proof. There's no proof required. You saw it. That's it. That's the end of the story. But when you say, I heard something, now you have to provide additional bits of information to be certain. Because hearing is not a certain thing. Now, Allah Ta'ala gave man the ability to use his mind to deduct, to deduce and think and arrive at realities that you cannot know otherwise. So we can arrive at something we cannot see with our mind through the power of deduction and through knowledge. So when you see, when you draw these conclusions and you gather the evidence, you arrive to finding something that was hidden from you. And that's called ilmul yaqeen. It's the knowledge of certainty, because you used your mind to arrive at the results. But if you see smoke, your mind tells you there's probably fire. So this is from ilm al-yaqeen, is that there's a smoke, there's fire. When you see it with your own eyes, then it becomes ayn al-yaqeen. Then you're really certain that it is a fire. So the truthfulness of the events in the Quran and whatever Allah tells us cannot be less certain than the certainty of seeing things with your own eyes. That's why Allah says, Alam tara, have you not seen? The words in the Quran are the truth, and we should believe in them with the certainty of seeing them with our own eyes. Because Allah Ta'ala is alimul ghaybi wa shahada, and He is the one telling us about them. So we have to believe them with the certainty of seeing them. And believing in the unseen is an essential quality of a believer. In Surah Al-Baqarah, in the beginning of the Quran, Allah says, Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. The first quality of al-muttaqeen, the God-fearing people, is they believe in the unseen. That's the first quality that Allah mentioned in the Quran. And Allah Jalla Jalaluh cannot be seen. We cannot see Allah. But He gave us our mind that we can arrive at knowing Him through the evidence, through His creation. You cannot see Allah, but you can see how great He is, from how perfect He is, from the perfection of His creation. The mind will allow you to see that. The senses cannot. But the mind, you'll arrive that there is an Allah, and He is great, and He is all of these Asma al-Husna that He gave us. The mind will get us there. And He will give us conclusions. Just like when you look at the light, your mind tells you definitively there is electricity. You can't see electricity, you cannot feel it, but you are certain of its presence from its evidence. So we know Allah Ta'ala through our minds when we analyze the evidence. The tools of knowledge are the ways of learning, through the senses. You see, you hear, you touch, you feel. That's how you acquire knowledge. Another mode is through reasoning, through the mind, like I was mentioning before. And then the third mode that we get knowledge is through truthful news. When somebody you trust tells you something, that becomes knowledge. And Allah Ta'ala is the truthful. So when He tells us these things that we cannot see and we cannot comprehend, we believe in them. And there is no other means other than those three different ways. There are no other means of acquiring knowledge. Inspirations, seeing visions, and having dreams, and all of these are only meant to uplift a believer. They cannot be used as proof, and Islam doesn't even need them. Islam is complete. It doesn't need that you see the Prophet in your sleep to tell you something. And even if you see the Prophet ﷺ in your sleep and he's telling you something contrary to what you know, you have to be careful, because dreams and visions are just like that. I mean, they're dreams. They uplift when they're good, but you cannot use them as proof, and you cannot build any action, over them. Now, we believe in many things that we cannot perceive, but Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala told us about them in Quran and in the authentic Sunnah. And we believe them with the certainty of seeing. We cannot see what happens to a person when he dies. We don't know what happens after death. But Allah told us about Jannah, told us about heaven and hell. We've never seen them, but Allah tells us about those. What falls under the senses is shahada. And what is hidden is al-ghayb. And Allah knows al-ghayb wa shahada. Alimul ghaybi wa shahada. So if man does not believe in the unseen when it's told to us by Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, he is not considered a believer. Because believing in the unseen is a requirement for al-muttaqeen, for a believer. You have to trust in what Allah tells you in the Quran and take it with the certainty of seeing. Allah says in Surah Al-Jinn 26 and 27, عالم الغيب فلا يظهر على غيبه أحد إلا من ارتضى من رسول فإنه يسلك من بين يديه ومن خلفه رصدا. Allah is the knower of the unseen, but He has given some of that knowledge to some of His messengers. When the Sunnah, when the Prophet ﷺ came and told us things from Al-Ghayb, he didn't bring it from his own. It wasn't his own analysis. It wasn't his own knowledge. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala gave him that information, to give to us. There are many narrations that talk about the signs of Al-Qiyamah, about, the minor signs and the major signs and so on. And we believe in them if they are in the authentic Sunnah. We believe in them with the certainty of seeing. He told us about Al-Hufat al-Urat Ru'at al-Shah yatawaluna fil bunyan. The barefoot nomads competing in building tall buildings. Do we see it today? Burj Khalifa, they're these sheep herders that were there, 100 years ago. They're competing in building the tallest building. How did the Prophet know that? Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala told them, because He knows Alimul Ghaybi wa Shahada. He told us that matters will be entrusted to people not fit for it. And we see that today. People get into positions of management. They are not fit to deliver mail, yet they lead big corporations. Evil is enjoined and good is forbidden. The liar is believed and the truthful person is doubted. The trustworthy is not trusted, and the one who betrays is trusted. We're seeing all of that. All of these minor signs, we can see them in our life today. And we only know about them because Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala given some of this knowledge to His Prophet. The Prophet ﷺ did not know al-ghayb. He did not know the future. Nobody knows the future. And anybody who claims he knows the future is a liar, because only Allah knows the future. Prophet ﷺ sent 70, a tribe came in and said, we need people to educate us about Islam. That was before Fatah Makkah. And he sent 70 of his dearest companions that memorized the Quran. And that tribe killed them. If the Prophet knew the future, he would have not sent them. In the Battle of Badr, he chose a position, and one of his companions was kind of telling him, is this ghaib from Allah, or is this from your own analysis and planning? When the Prophet told him, this is one of my planning, he said, there is a better opinion. There's a better option. Another location we should be at. And the Prophet accepted that. He doesn't know al-ghayb. He was using his, whatever was Allah allowed him to know. So Allah Ta'ala gave His beloved Prophet, many news, but He kept from him a lot more too. So there are many types of the unseen, and there are types that only Allah knows. they're exclusive to Allah, like the time of the Day of Judgment and the time of death. And this truth should be evident in our minds. I mean, we should not, doubt any of that. And if you are with Allah, obedient on His orders, and you're following, His orders, then Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala will lead you to what is good, because He knows what is good. He is the expert. When you go and consult with an expert, you borrow from his expertise. And Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is telling us, قُلْ لَن يُصِيبَنَا إِلَّا مَا كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَنَا هُوَ مَوْلَانَا وَعَلَى اللَّهِ فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. This is in Surah At-Tawbah, verse 51. Say, never will we be struck except by that which Allah has decreed for us. He is our protector, and upon Allah let the believers rely. A believer is always in the protection of Allah. Enemies will plot, and Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala will inspire the believer to take measures that counteract their plots. You don't know why you do things. Allah inspires you. Do this instead of this. And that gets you to safety without you even knowing them. You want to embark on a business venture, and something inside tells you, and then you back out. And then you find out later that it was something really horrible, that God saved you from making a big mistake. You may decide, I'm going to move to another town, and things just doesn't happen. You try, and just one obstacle after another. That's Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala telling you, you don't need to move, you stay here. These are all guidance from the one who knows what is and what will be. And He guides a believer to what is best. عَالِمُ الْغَيْبِ وَالشَّهَادَةِ. You want to embark on something that you don't know the results of it? Allah gave us a tool. It's called Salat al-Istikhara. You make 2 rak'ahs, and then you make a dua to Allah that, Ya Allah, you know. I don't know. You know. You have the power. I don't have the power. Choose for me. He is the expert. You're borrowing from His expertise. Ya Allah, choose for me. I don't know. I don't know what it is. And when you do that istikhara, it's not necessary to see a vision or see a dream or whatever. No, you just make the istikhara, and Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala will open some doors and close some doors. And just, go with the flow. And Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala will guide you to what is best. He knows the spouse is good for you. And He makes that whole process easy. He knows that job is not good for you, and He puts obstacles in front of you. He knows all that stuff. So all you have to do is go back and tell Allah, Ya Allah, I don't know, choose for me. And you do it in everything. And when you get into that habit, you'll have a great life, because you won't make mistakes, because you're going with the light of Allah and with His expertise. Allah says, وعنده مفاتح الغيب لا يعلمها إلا هو ويعلم ما في البر والبحر وما تسقط من ورقة إلا يعلمها ولا حبة في ظلمات الأرض ولا رطب ولا يابس إلا في كتاب مبين. This is in Surah Al-An'am, verse 59. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has the keys of the unseen in the beginning of the verse. Allah did not say وَمَفَاتِحُ الْغَيْبِ عِنْدَهُ. He said وَعِنْدَهُ مَفَاتِحُ الْغَيْبِ. That word, by putting it up front, وَعِنْدَهُ, with Him, our مَفَاتِحُ الْغَيْبِ, tells us that they're exclusively with Allah. Because if He says مَفَاتِحُ الْغَيْبِ عِنْدَهُ, that means it could be with Him and with somebody else. But He put it right at the beginning, so that we know that only all the keys of the unseen belong with Him. And in Surah Luqman, verse 34, Allah gives us 5 things that are exclusively His. إِنَّ اللَّهَ عِنْدَهُ عِلْمُ السَّاعَةِ. He has the knowledge of the hour. Nobody else has it. وَيُنَزِّلُ الْغَيْثِ. And He makes the rain fall. So any attempts by man to make artificial rain and make things rain is futile. Because if they can, then the Quran is not true. So this is from the knowledge that only Allah has and only Allah knows. وَيُنَزِّلُ الْغَيْثَ وَيَعْلَمُ مَا فِي الْأَرْحَامِ, and He knows what's in the wombs. I'll come back to that one. وَمَا تَدْرِي نَفْسٌ مَاذَا تَكْسِبُ غَدًا, and no soul will know what it's going to happen, what's going to happen tomorrow. وَمَا تَدْرِي نَفْسٌ بِأَيِّ أَرْضٍ تَمُوتُ, and nobody knows where death is going to be. Death may be in this land, maybe in some other land. We don't know. That's from the knowledge of Allah. إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلِيمٌ خَبِيرٌ. Now, I want to come back to the وَيَعْلَمُ مَا فِي الْأَرْحَامِ, and He knows what's in the wombs. Now, some people may claim, well, we can go and do an ultrasound and find out, the sex of the baby. Allah says, وَيَعْلَمُ مَا فِي الْأَرْحَامِ. He did not say, وَيَعْلَمُ مَنْ فِي الْأَرْحَامِ. Man is who? He did not say He knows who is in the womb, a male or a female. He says, ma, what? That knowledge of the sex is one part of millions of things. He knows who's in the womb. Is he going to be a doctor? Is he going to be, a good person, a bad person, a PhD, an inventor? Will he have a good life? Will he have a bad life? Who he's going to marry? How many kids he's going to have? Is he going to be tall? What is he going to, all the stuff, all of these, Allah knows. Because He knows what's in that womb. He knows what's going to happen to them from the time of inception until the time they die. That's the knowledge of Allah. So when people look at this verse and say, wait a minute, we can find out the sex. The sex is one part of millions of bits of information. Allah gave us that one only, and the rest of it belongs with Allah. عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الحكيم الخبير. Now, the human mind works on three principles. Works on the principle of cause and effect. The mind will not accept something happening without something causing it. Nothing happens by itself. The mind will not accept it. The second principle is there must be a purpose in everything. Nothing is just without purpose. It's just sitting there without a purpose. And the third concept is the mind cannot accept contradictions. No contradictions will be accepted by the mind. So the verse, هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. That's the verse we started with. The verse started with huwa. Huwa is an answer, but there is no question. The verses before it, there is no question. It says, He is Allah. Like when you're saying, who is somebody? You say, He is so and so. The verse begins with huwa. It's an answer to a question that's not stated. If you contemplate the universe, you say, the universe is so magnificent, who created it? The answer is, Hu Allah. It is Allah. Who made the earth rotate on an inclined angle so we can have the 4 seasons and have it in different parts of the earth? Hu Allah. Who made the human body so complex where millions and billions of cells all work together to work flawlessly? Hu Allah. Who designed the eyes to not freeze in winter? If you go out, you cannot protect your eyes, but your eyes never freeze. Your eyes is mostly water, but it has antifreeze in it. Who created it like that? Who Allah. Allah is giving us an answer to an infinite amount of questions that we may have in our mind. Who Allah. It is Allah. He is the answer to every question you have about creation. And this is Tawheed. If you want to summarize Islam, it's La ilaha illallah. Tawheed, there is only one actor in this creation, in this universe. It is Allah. Who does something? Who Allah. It is Allah. لا معطي إلا الله ولا مانع إلا الله ولا رافع إلا الله ولا خافض إلا الله ولا معين إلا الله. Whatever you want, there is only Allah. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.